Welcome to Massive Beers. My name is Matt. We do the beer stuff here. New brewery time. New West Coast brewery time. Homage brewing time. In the form of their Rec Oner. Rec Oner? We're going to go Rec Oner. I'm probably screwing that up. It's probably obvious what that's supposed to be pronounced as. But I mess it all up. This comes courtesy of my boy Chris from Soul Talk. S-U-L Talk. Go check him out. A lot of spirit stuff, beer stuff, fun stuff on the YouTubes, Instagrams, all that stuff. And he's hitting me in my soft spots. We have a India Pale Ale with Citra and Nelson Sauvin hops. 100% Brett, though. Yeah, a Brett IPA. I haven't had one in so long. It's one of my favorite styles. I don't see them a ton. I'm very excited. This beer was canned in June. It's over a year, half a year old. June 2023. It's a Brett beer, man. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Homage Brewing. They are based out of, let's see. Excuse me. Did they even tell you on here? They don't tell you where they're from. That's weird. They tell you from California. You can tell that. That's weird. Anyway, let's dive into it. We're going to drink it out of a chalice, the stem chalice, because we're weird. 100% Brett, out of a can. Hoppy jam. It's definitely pouring like a Brett beer. That thing has got a head on it. Let's stop it there. Yeah, that's it. Oh, man. I got a little sniffle, so my nose ain't hundy, but citrus. Gobs and gobs of it, so we're assuming Brett C from a distance. It's black and white. It's ghetto. I like it. As far as the beer goes, gigantic head. One, because I pour awesomely, and two, it's a Brett beer, so it's going to be a little bit more kind of, I guess you'd say, vibrant, spry, lively. And that looks like a killer hazy. You know what I mean? And by today's New England style hazy IPA standards, that is exactly what you want things to look like. So, yeah, I mean, gigantic head. Off-white. Like a yellow tone to it, I think, just because of how rich and hazy the beer is. A little sniffly. Let's see if we can get a nose through all this foam. Yeah, you don't need much because it's just gobs and gobs of citrus. It has to be a Brett C thing. It does. It has to be Brett C with a copious amounts of hops because it's not just... You're getting that richness, that new school haziness that we all know and love when you dig on hazy IPAs. But there's something else to it, a little bit more kind of juice to it, a little bit more kind of massaging something a bit bigger out of those hops. It's got to be the Brett C side of things. There's no funkiness. There's no offness. You're telling me this is 6 months old. I think that Brett has probably tempered any kind of negativity. The hops had to have mellowed a bit. But I think with it having a Brett yeast in there doing its thing and gobbling up what it can, I think there's much less negative or any negative oxygen in here to where it just keeps everything a bit more stable. And that's why we have no qualms with this being a half a year old. Yeah, just gobs and gobs. All the citrus belong to us. That's what's going on here. Sweetness, as you expect from a hazy IPA. Big, huge citrus notes, both from that yeast and from those hops. I actually just got to dive in. Cheers, y'all. God damn, I want to try this fresh. And I want to try it with a year on it. And I want to try it with 4 years on it. This is a really fun beer. I'm curious to see what it's going to drink like now that I threw the bottom in there. So you're getting all... It's like the really beautiful marriage between that citrusy Brett we all know and love that we get from a lot of like Saison, Farmhouse Ale, stuff like that when they skew very much citrus. You can even get it from, a lot of classic kind of Brett-based beers. Orval can do it, and a bunch of other ones. Yeah, the sniffles are really firing off right now. I apologize. But, so what is it I'm going to use here? It's a perfect marriage between the old school and the new school. It very much reminds me of a lot of like Brux beers. Russian Duck makes a Brux beer. A couple people do it. It's like kind of akin to that Brett kind of yeastiness, but it's also typically used for a hop forward beer. Vec yeast, not so much, but kind of in that kind of realm, in that you're getting just this bursting of hops from that dosing. What is it? Nelson Sauvin and Citra. And then when you get to the other side of things, from the fruity side of things, from the yeast side of things, it's just adding to that citrus component to the point where, like when I talk about being like a kind of dosed to 11 MSG kind of thing, towards like I think it's grabbing a hold of those hops and just cranking the saturation, the volumetric, the brightness, the contrast of those hops up more and more and more. But where it really does a cool trick is when you flip the script and get on the other side of the beer and you start to come down. You're finishing dry. You're finishing, fully attenuated. There's a lingering of a little bit of sweetness in your tongue, but I think that's more of just a hazy IPA meets a Brett yeast kind of combination. But it ends up just being dry in your tongue to where you just want to go back for more. It's like the best of both worlds. It's absolutely that perfect combination of big, huge citrus notes with the lack of residual sweetness. Beautiful mouthfeel, soft, pillow, like fluffy kind of mouthfeel to it. And it's just one of those things where it's just super hyper curious to see what this beer drank like. And in its infancy, it was the Brett showing as much as it was. Was it just a straight up new school hazy? What was it like at 3 months, 1 month, 3 months? We're now at 6 months, a year, 2 years from now. Is it going to morph into something a bit different? It certainly will. But is it going to be a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. I really wish I had this fresh. Just so I could be like, this is better now than it was then, or it's a different beer, but equally as enjoyable. But that's beer, I guess, Especially when you're talking about Brett beers, living beers, those kind of things. But it's a really fun beer, and one that I'm really, really appreciative to try. Thank you very much, Chris, again. This is just, damn. This is my kind of jam. Like, I was, saw this one, and I've been sitting on it going, you'll drink it, you drink it, you drink it. And tonight I was like, you're drinking this goddamn thing. So, yeah, to recap, all this is just Arbol to us, both on the hop and yeast side of things. Beautiful, fluffy, creamy mouthfeel to it. And just that, when you peak on that citrus and on the ride down the back end, just the way the beer treats your palate, from the mouthfeel to the way it dries out. You get a little lingering sweetness and then just bottoms out completely. Makes you want to go back for more. Very, very, very interesting, fun beer. Is this one of the better hazies I've had? Yes. Is it Mount Rushmore status? Probably just outside. That's more that there's just probably 4 out of the hundreds that I've had over the past year that I had. Yeah, in the past year, I'm thinking it's New Year's, so it's only been a couple days. But it's worthy. 100% worthy. Is it one of the better Brett-based beers that I've had as late? Yeah, that without a doubt. Not that I've had a ton, but man, it's just something about the combination of the way this works in a new school with that old school Brett. Just give it to me. Shoot it right into my veins. Actually, no, I'd rather drink it, but you know what I mean. And leave you with, if you like what we like, value and availability, no idea. And leave you with, if you like what we like this. If you like Brux beers, if you like IPAs, hazy IPAs, but you also dig on the Brett C. If you like citrus, you'll dig this beer. So there you go. Look at that lacing too. God damn. Hopefully you enjoyed the review. Homage. Have you been to the brewery? Have you had their beers? What's your favorite beer? Have you had this beer? What did you think of it? Had you had it fresh? Have you had it a little bit of time on it? Any of that stuff, let's talk about it down there. Hopefully you enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying a little bit of homage right now. We'll see you next time. Cheers, y'all.